Let's jump right into this explainer on one of the absolute most dramatic, nerve-wracking football finals we've seen in recent memory, the 2026 UEFA Champions League final, the Budapest Thriller. We are talking about a match that promised fireworks and absolutely delivered. It wasn't just your standard final, it was a total masterclass in tactical survival going head-to-head with overwhelming dominance with everything on the line to close out the 71st season of Europe's premier club competition. Picture this, 61,035 fans packed into the sun-drenched Puskás Arena. It was a gorgeous 24 degrees Celsius day, that's about 75 Fahrenheit for our American listeners, on May 30th, 2026. And you know, what made this venue extra special was that it was literally the very first time the Champions League final had ever been hosted in Hungary. The crowds completely saturated the city's transport lines well before kickoff, and the atmosphere was just absolutely electric.
Section 1. The Road to Budapest. To really get the sheer pressure of this match, you have to understand the historical trajectories colliding here. On one hand, you've got Paris Saint-Germain, the defending champions, trying to cement a massive legacy by becoming the first reigning winners to pull off a back-to-back title since 2018. On the flip side, Arsenal, a hungry London underdog stepping onto this ultimate stage for the first time since their heartbreaking loss to Barcelona way back in 2006. And since both actually won their domestic leagues, a prestigious continental double was up for grabs for both squads. To add to the unique vibe, UEFA actually pushed the kickoff up to a historic 1800 Central European summertime. That is a full 3 hours earlier than usual. They did this specifically to boost the global fan experience, benefit the host city, and accommodate the teams. So, the game kicked off in bright late afternoon sunshine, which gave the whole match a completely different visual tone.
Section 2. An early Arsenal shock.
Pristine conditions, right? Well, that definitely did not mean a peaceful opening. After a pre-match performance by the Killers, the whistle blew, and the script went completely out the window just 6 minutes in. An attempted clearance by PSG's Marquinhos deflects right off Arsenal's Leandro Trossard. The ball drops perfectly for Kai Havertz, and he slots it past the keeper from a super tight angle. 1-0 Arsenal. That early shock forced PSG into a relentless chase until Ousmane Dembele finally leveled it with a penalty in the 65th minute. And honestly, the tension just skyrocketed from there, especially when Kvaratskhelia hit the post for PSG in the 77th minute.
Section 3. The Parisian Equalizer.
So Arsenal gets that early lead, but the match rapidly morphed into a grueling tactical siege by Paris. PSG absolutely suffocated the game, hogging a massive 72% possession to Arsenal's 28%. Luis Enrique's squad essentially set up camp in Arsenal's half, dictating the tempo and forcing the London side into a really desperate, deep defensive block.
And the shot numbers prove just how hard Arsenal was defending for their absolute lives. PSG unleashed a 21-shot barrage compared to Arsenal's 8. By the end of the second half alone, PSG had 18 attempts on goal to Arsenal's 4. The London side was just weathering a massive storm, relying so heavily on goalkeeper David Raya and their center backs to keep them in it.
But here is the truly wild part. That 6-minute goal from Havertz? That was incredibly Arsenal's one and only shot on target in the entire match. Nope, seriously, let that sink in. They played for another 114 minutes plus stoppage time without testing the PSG goalkeeper again. It's just a crazy testament to their incredible defensive resilience and, frankly, PSG's sheer dominance in shutting down any counterattacks.
Section 4. Deadlock and extra time.
With the game tied at 1-1, we head into extra time, and minute 103 brings absolute sheer controversy. Arsenal's Noni Madueke goes down in the box after a tackle by PSG's Nuno Mendes. Arsenal players immediately swarm the referee, screaming for a penalty that could easily win them the cup. But, plot twist, the ref shocks everyone by giving a free kick to PSG instead, ruling that Madueke had grabbed Mendes' arm. Furious protests erupt, ending with yellow cards for both Declan Rice and manager Mikel Arteta.
So after 120 grueling, emotional minutes, the deadlock is completely unbroken. And we are thrust into the ultimate, heart-stopping climax of sudden death penalties. Who is actually going to hold their nerve?
This shootout was a masterclass in psychological pressure. Round 1, PSG's Ramos and Arsenal's Gyökeres both score. But in round 2, the pressure shows. Arsenal's Eberechi Eze pushes his shot wide left. Arsenal gets a massive lifeline when David Raya saves Nuno Mendes' shot in round 3, but PSG is just flawless the rest of the way, with Hakimi and Beraldo finding the net. Down 4-3 in the 5th round, it all comes down to Arsenal center back Gabriel. He steps up and fires it completely over the bar. Absolute heartbreak for London and pure jubilation for Paris.
Section 5. Legacy and Chaotic Aftermath.
On the pitch, absolute sporting immortality was achieved. With midfielder Vitinha rightfully claiming man of the match, PSG became only the second club in the modern Champions League era to successfully defend their title. They literally matched Real Madrid's legendary 2016-2017 feat. And this victory secured them a spot in the 2026 UEFA Super Cup against Aston Villa, the FIFA Intercontinental Cup, and the 2029 FIFA Club World Cup.
However, to give you the full picture in this explainer, we must impartially report on the stark contrast back in France. Tens of thousands of jubilant fans poured into the streets of Paris to celebrate. But unfortunately, those celebrations devolved into violent clashes and riots, a grim repetition of what happened after their 2025 victory. The French Interior Ministry had to deploy a staggering 22,000 security officers nationwide, with 8,000 in the capital alone. The aftermath resulted in 283 arrests in Paris and another 133 across the rest of the country.
As the beautiful game continues to produce such fierce passion, where exactly do we draw the line between sporting celebration and real-world chaos? It's a striking contrast that really leaves us wondering about the intense human passion this sport evokes and its true cost. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. It was a historic match and an aftermath that definitely forces us to look at the beautiful game a little differently.